I wasn't mentally okay. I was reading this book. Okay. It's one of those days today. I was reading this book. You need to be careful what you tolerate and how you teach people how to treat you. Need to be intentional with the people that you partner up with, the people that are going to be your customers, people that you get into relationships with. And I'm not talking like marriage things, I'm talking about friendship relationships. Sometimes, not intentionally, we are giving people permission to mistreat us. And it's just a trickling effect. That's exactly what we're going to talk about: self worth, relationships, and how people treat us. The thing is that me and you are responsible, and we give them permission and access to our energy, our mood, the way that we feel. We're giving them all of this permission. We're giving them the ability to hurt us or help us and everything in between. I've been very passionate about this in the past few months because it took me a whole year to stop the people pleasing. And I would say it's still a journey that I am constantly working through. I love to help other women. I love to see all of my friends thrive. But so that's something that I'm personally working on. And every single day, I am working on it. I'm going to list everything in the description, but I was reading this book. How it was talking about how we give people clues and pretty much instructions, like a step by step on how to treat us from the very first time that they meet us. If we cannot value ourselves, that's exactly what we're teaching to our business partner, our customer, our client. We are letting them know, like, hey, this is how you can treat me. It's not really their fault that they're treating us trashy. I would argue, I wouldn't say fault, but it's on us that we are letting people treat us the way that they treat us. Because at the end of the day, we tolerated it. I don't want to be gaslit. I don't want to be feeling a certain type of way when I walk into a room. Tell me in the comments if you've been feeling this way recently, or maybe you're going through this exact moment. I would say for me, this started in 2018. I was super postpartum. I did not know it. I didn't know what that was. I remember I love my husband so much. And I remember considering us not being together. That was how bad my mental state was. I was just very lonely. We lived about 40 to 50 minutes away from my hometown. I was so lonely having this child. She was 3 months. And even before she was born, I was not mentally okay. I had the opportunity to start a new business online. I accepted any and all relationships. I had zero boundaries. I didn't even know about boundaries. I signed up any and everybody I could for my customer, my business partner. My boundaries were non existent, they were completely nowhere to be found. I wanted to be, again, friends with everybody. I pretty much let anybody in my life without a background check. Okay. I don't want you to think that it's like, okay, I'm not going to give anybody a chance. But now, where I'm at now, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I mean, oh my God, was that 5 years ago? That's wild. 5 years ago that I was feeling that way and I was not okay. Little did I know that that was going to affect everything moving forward. I just wanted to have friends. I wanted to start this new business and I scaled rapidly. I made six figures within a year of doing my beauty business. It was amazing. But I was like silently, I don't even know how to put it. I was just silently suffering, perhaps, because unfortunately, I had these red flags coming up often and I never did anything about it. It was a silent message that I was giving that it was okay to walk all over me, have no boundaries. You can do whatever you want with me. I had zero awareness. And that is exactly one of the reasons why I burnt out. Because once you're aware of your worth, you're going to be able to surround yourself with people that love you. One of the John Maxwell books, The 21 Irrefutable Laws, talks about that. How your inner circle is literally everything. People who love you, who treat you well, who tell you how it is. Because I have a few friends that really had to tell me to get my life together. And they did it in a very loving way. And I truly, truly appreciate you. You know who you are. Going back to people handle us in direct proportion of how we tolerate it. I don't want you to confuse this with mistreatment, like physical mistreatment, SA, any of that. I'm talking about like business relationships, client relationships, customer friendships, things like that. You are not responsible for what someone else is doing to you, saying to you, and none of that. But what we are responsible for is the way that we respond to it, how we recover, how we thrive, and how we can step away. I think that's the hardest thing. Stepping away, it seems impossible to do because you may have a relationship with this person, this group. Guess what? this change is necessary in order for you to grow. And you might just feel stuck, dude. I get it. But really take a look at what is the benefit? Like, why am I here? What growth am I doing here? Is this relationship mutually beneficial? John Maxwell always talks about how relationships have to be mutually beneficial. And if it's just me giving, I constantly deposit in and I'm getting no opportunity to withdraw. What is the point of me being here? I remember my mom telling me all this all the time. She is literally like the smartest human ever. She always told me about friendships and circles and all of that. I would always roll my eyes like, Mom, don't start with your scriptures, please. Like your friend scriptures. No, thank you. Now I understand. I understand that we need to remove ourselves from people's lives, even if it doesn't feel good. Even if she was going to be your long lost client that you absolutely love, and you've been coaching someone, you're like, you're kind of toxic for me. I don't want you as my client. You might just have to let her go or give her a refund or whatever it is, because as guilty as we may feel, it's causing you pain. It's causing you discomfort. It's causing you to feel small, causing you so much anxiety when in reality, all you need to do is release. You might not even have boundaries, but we're going to start implementing those. I've definitely self sabotaged by holding on to relationships, partnerships that didn't really serve me anymore. It goes back to self confidence. We teach people how to treat us from the moment that we first meet. That means boundaries. I would say last October was barely like me crawling out, putting boundaries into place. You're trying to set that reset button, like, okay, I'm going to do this. And guess what? You're going to start hurting because we're human. We miss people. We miss clients. Maybe you really needed that money. You're like, dang, I should have just kept on working with her. But guess what? Instead of blaming them, like, why did you do this to me? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have felt this. Or if it wasn't for you, I would have got this result. Just take responsibility of the fact that you tolerated it from the beginning. I'm not pointing fingers at you. You ignored the flag and now you're feeling resentful. Perhaps you're playing the blame game. But guess what? We have to take responsibility for our actions and work on our self worth. One of the biggest reasons why I would say that this happened is because I never asked for help. Wanted everybody. I wanted, everyone in my circle, everyone as friendships. And I also didn't want help. Still to this day, we still don't have a babysitter. Then going back to my business, did everything, didn't ask for help. It looked like I had things together. People would ever pick my brain, give me business tips, business advice, social media advice, code, like everything until I was like, okay, I'm about to have a mental breakdown. Guess what? Misery loves company. When you start making changes, putting those boundaries up, people are not going to like it. If you're setting that reset button again, you're going to repel. Example. So a little bit over a year ago, my business numbers were declining. So definitely a trigger. I was overindulging. I was pretty much going out every single weekend in efforts of trying to hide my pain, which there was no hiding. Okay. I'm pretty emotional when I have a couple of drinks. I could not make peace with my past, and it was like a constant blame game. It was just a huge mess. I decided to put up boundaries. I didn't want to operate from the same dysfunction. I didn't want to take that decision, but at the same time, like I was looking like I was going downhill pretty fast. I had to do a few things, and I'm going to share this with you, what worked for me, and hopefully this can give you you're going through this hopefully gives you a little bit of clarity. First thing, be self aware. I knew that I had a problem. I knew that I wasn't happy. I knew that my self worth was, it was a me problem. I had to really take a look at that. It also helped that I had friends that reached out. We would have these conversations. I remember that conversation so clear because that is when I started looking into self worth and like, what do I feel? Why is it that I am constantly tolerating these type of relationships in my life? And I feel like I'm losing friends left and right, but it was me not having that self-worth that led me to really bad habits that I needed to really look at. And it goes back to that self-worth. Like I love my body. I want to be able to live long and take care of myself. The next thing I did was set up boundaries, changing my space, changing my environment. I needed healthy boundaries too, mental health boundaries, anything dramatic that caused me stress. Like I could not handle it. My body would get this crazy pain in my upper back. Like I'm talking like sharp pain. Every time I get that pain, it was from stress. And I already know that. And now I'm self-aware. Every time I get this back pain, it's because of stress. And I need to figure out what is causing me that stress. Number three, I wanted to start my YouTube channel. And because I set up these boundaries, I have time, I also wanted to start coaching again. I wanted to help other women feel confident, get confident on camera. And in getting other women results, it really helped my self confidence too. Like, see, I do know what I'm talking about. I do love what I do. I just needed a different environment. And it completely filled up my heart to help these women business owners to just show up on camera again and just feel amazing while they do it. Fourth thing, networking completely changed the game for me. I love meeting new people. I've always loved meeting new people. I love having friends. I decided to put myself into a situation where I can meet new people that have my same goal. So I went to a lot of networking events, women business, women owned businesses, entrepreneurs, real estate investing, anything that was high level entrepreneurship. I wanted to be there. It made me feel just so good after I went, as well as building meaningful relationships. When it comes to networking, social media is a huge place where I continue to grow my network. And I was very intentional when I was on social media. I still am, but that certain period of time that I really needed to get my head space together, I decided to unfollow a lot of people. It didn't bring me joy. And, that also meant blocking people. I wasn't mentally okay. And I didn't want to completely erase my social media. I really enjoy it, but I had to remove myself. That was one of the ways that I did that. But guess what? I was scared. I'm like, oh my God, what if they find out that like I unfollowed them and all of that? Who cares? What is more important? I'm okay. If someone knows that I unfollowed them, it's fine. If they take it personal, I hope they don't. But I wanted to feel better. Which brings me to number five, maybe super cliche. I started being me again. I realized going through this entire journey of trying to get my life together was that I always made myself smaller. Let me explain. I always made myself smaller so they can shine. But then as I continued to read and understand, I always wondered like, why do I have to make myself smaller? Like, why can't we all be big? Why can't we all enter the room power? That doesn't feel good, especially because I love to meet new people. I love to say hi to everyone. That's one of the biggest things. I started being me again. Like if I want to wear bright pink, if I want to wear tennis shoes, I don't feel the pressure of trying to fit into other people's standards. I'm not letting other people's rules or aesthetics or looks determine the way that I want to show up for my events, my social media. And I feel like the biggest takeaway pretty much of this entire thing is self-worth. All went back to self-worth. It trickled down until I finally said, nope, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'll link the video below. It's called Worst Year Ever. That's really pretty much what I was going through. Now I could be self aware. Now I could be myself and attract my ideal client, my ideal business partner, and all of that stuff. Wanted to share a few books with you. I am not a therapist, clearly, but I feel like these books have really helped me. If you're going through intrusive thoughts, I highly recommend that you get help. I have some therapist friends too. Feel free to let me know if you want their social so you can reach out to them. These books really helped me figure out a lot of the things I was going through internally in personal life and in business, which I feel like it intertwines because I'm building a personal brand. So this was the very first one I started reading last year and it talks a lot about how his dad was always drunk. He talks very openly about that and how that affected his adulthood. And that's kind of what opened my mind to trauma. Highly recommend. Simple to read. You might feel like a few things are basic and that's okay. Be open minded. If you need a new book, The Power of One More, it's really good. The next book that opened up my mind more to trauma is The Greatness Mindset. He talks a lot about trauma and how everything that you are going through right now has to do with something that happened to you in your past. And you know what I love is that he didn't go through crazy like divorce or anything. He had a really good life. And I loved that he talked about trauma anyway. And that's one of the things that I think I was against because a lot of people would talk about trauma and I'm like, dude, I don't have trauma. My parents were married. This book really opened my mind to maybe you should explore all of these triggers and why your business is most likely suffering and your relationships are suffering because all of this trauma. Number three, I absolutely love. This is everything that I was talking about today is called the Woman Code. Every single thing that she's talking about, it's not woo woo, okay? She is faith based, so she does talk about God and the Bible, but it's not something that you can't read even if you don't believe in those things. Last but definitely not least is the magic of thinking big. This is definitely more business based, but it just reminds me like you need to go big because why not? Be delusional and working on belief. My journey of belief in myself and my journey of self worth has opened a lot of doors to having conversations with you because we don't talk about this a lot. We talk only about the pretty fun entrepreneurship, how to grow on TikTok things, but this is also important. My intention is to share everything entrepreneurship, and we have each other to be able to talk through these things. I'm excited to do so. So thank you so much for being here, hanging out with me. I am very excited for the future of this show. I will talk to you soon.